This segment, I'm very pleased to have a special guest, retired Lieutenant General Norman Seip, on the phone. General, how are you, sir?
Frank, I'm doing great, and thanks for the opportunity to come on your show.
Well, thank you. Of course, you were retired from the Air Force.
That's correct. 35 years, and I've been out about a year.
And you were stationed at one time, way back in the 70s, at Sumter, at Shaw.
Sure was. That's the time when you could buy season tickets to Gamecock football for $45.
Okay, well, that was been a while ago. Although
yes,
I was here at the time in 1975, so there you go. All right, now you were a participant. In fact, you spoke at the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition conference held yesterday in Columbia. And first of all, tell everybody a little bit what the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition is.
Well, the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition is it's a mixed group of many unexpected messengers. It includes 80 retired 3- and 4-star generals that talk about the importance of our international affairs budget as to do with our security and defense and diplomacy. It's made up of 400 businesses, NGOs, and nonprofits, and it's also made up of on the board of every living previous Secretary of States. We're a mixed group that advocates that if you do diplomacy and development right, then you never have to use the other part of the 3 Ds, which is defense. Okay,
well, very good, very interesting. And, of course, a lot of notable folk are part of this coalition, aren't they?
Oh, believe me. We've got Madam Albright. We have retired Admiral Jim Loy, who, as you all know, ran the Coast Guard and then was very much involved with standing up TSA and our Homeland Security. So we've got the leaders from some of the biggest corporations in America that are involved in advocating international affairs and development and diplomacy.
Of course, and we can understand why the largest, some of our giant corporations in the United States would be interested in diplomacy and international affairs budget because, well, to be honest with you, they see other markets out there that they would like to be in to make money. But from the political standpoint, from our politicians and our the leaders, their angle is a little bit different. They are concerned about national defense, aren't they?
Well, they are, and that's certainly a challenge for us when we talk about the international affairs budget. Unfortunately, unlike our current president and previous president, who kind of put international affairs budget under the national security umbrella, Congress is elected to separate that, and as a result, the international affairs budget is looking at almost a 20% cut.
Wow.
Which would be, and some of them are very disproportionate in some of the areas within the budget.
In fact, there was a proposal coming out of the House just recently that would. How much did they want to trim out of that budget?
Almost 19%.
Oh, okay, 19%. That's about $250 million.
That's right.
And that's just economic assistance to Egypt.
And along with many other countries, as well as many other programs like our food security, food aid, our World Health programs, the Millennium Corporation Challenge, along with the ability to respond to natural disasters and provide humanitarian aid.
Okay, and of course, I guess our Senator Graham has been a big proponent of helping and getting a sustainable international affairs budget because he believes that it is all about American security.
Well, yes, sir, and he's seen it as a citizen soldier with his time with the Guard, as well as obviously his work with industry in South Carolina. He's one of the leaders out there that gets it, and he is working hard for people to understand that we don't expect to be completely divorced from any budget cuts, but that we need to make sure that they're smart cuts and we understand the impacts of the cuts.
Okay. And I am talking with retired Lieutenant General Norman, and it's Seip, not Seip.
No, it's Seip.
It's not Seip, it's Seip. Is that correct?
Seip.
Oh, it is Seip. I'll get this right. What can I say?
Hey, it's Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it is Friday. So, General Seip, the theme of the conference yesterday also was about what it means to South Carolina families to have a proper international affairs budget.
Absolutely. I mean, South Carolina, just from the national security aspect, when you look at our sons and daughters that have joined the military that are either assigned to bases and posts in South Carolina or citizen soldiers there certainly, are involved in our national security. And I go back to my original statement that if we do the defense or the diplomacy and the development portion right, then we don't need the defense piece.
Okay, I'm looking here at the sheet on this. Employment trade supports 403,000 jobs in South Carolina. It was in 2006, or 17.4% of the total jobs, up from 9.2% in 1992, indicating that trade was becoming more of a important employment sector in South Carolina.
And as you and I talked about earlier, only 5% of the customer base is sitting in the United States. 95% of it sits out there in the rest of the world as part of this global economy. So South Carolina ought to applaud itself and pat itself on the back because they get it. And they're one of the leaders in this country on going after business outside of the country, outside of the state, and also understand the importance of developing those customer bases out there.
All right. So one of the things that Senator Graham has quoted in some of his literature about our relationship with Egypt and how he believes that we ought to be putting, building up more of a relationship with the company there and the international business community.
I agree. The jury's out as far as how Egypt will end up. But the fact of the matter is the work that was done using money from the international affairs budget in working with the Egyptian military, I think came out in full force there, in full view, as we saw the Egyptian military, support what was going on in the way of democratic processes in the future, adhering to human rights and human dignity out there. So I think those were dollars well spent. Okay. And certainly we need to continue to be involved, both from the idea that as we raise up the ability of the Egyptian people to form those middle classes and to grow in stature there, again, selfishly, they become a future market for us.
Okay, very good. So what's your take and from the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition on what's going on in Libya?
That's going to be a tough one to call because, as you know, and your viewers probably know, we've had very little influence in that country over the years, just because of the regime there and what they advocate for and what they've practiced. So again, we're going to have to work with the Arab League. We'll need to work with NATO. We'll have to work with many other countries that do have influence in Libya, to ensure that the outcomes are something that are a benefit not just to the United States, but to that region and to the world.
Okay. Can we open up a Walmart over there? Will that help their economy stabilize it? I don't know.
It would, but we probably aren't going to be able to do that tomorrow.
Or maybe in eastern Libya we won't be able to do it. Maybe there. All right. Well, this is very good. So now where do you go with this? Because I'm sure Columbia, South Carolina is not the only place the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition has these conferences. So what's next?
Well, we've got a group down in Charleston as we speak, doing the same type of forum there. Just recently, as this past Tuesday, I, along with 6 other retired 3- and 4-stars, met with some key leaders in Congress and Senate and talked about the importance of that small budget, that 1% of our total budget called International Affairs budget. And again, to remind our elected officials there that we need to be smart. And we need to recognize, what the impacts will be, and that we don't spite ourselves by doing something short-term that will have some long-term negative impacts.
All right, so the international affairs budget is really has a lot of different parts to it. So it's not just like one thing.
Oh, it's got numerous programs, and as I mentioned, we have the food security, food aid. We have the ability to respond to natural disasters, provide humanitarian assistance. The World Health Program itself is huge in the things it does. The Millennium Challenge Corporation that supports some of the countries out there, as well as some of the training that we do with the military and police forces around the world. We also do peacekeepers. The money used from the international affairs budget has trained over 100,000 peacekeepers in the last 5 years, and that's another way of preventing and minimizing potential conflicts out there. So it's far-reaching. It's a big impact for the money that's in there, and I would tell you that when you bring me into the fight, meaning someone that's wearing the uniform, the cost goes up by 10 times. Just because of the fact that now we're into a situation where the military is involved.
Oh, no doubt about that. And I think that's the point that you were making and Senator Graham was making, that better that we work cooperatively and help foster successful local economies in these other countries so as to take away some of the advantages of some people like Al Qaeda who want to, to take advantage of people who are unhappy.
Absolutely, Frank. There's no such thing as voids out there in the world anymore. They're filled very quickly. So a vacuum or a void is filled very quickly, and we have the opportunity in many places to fill those, or stand back and watch, and then that becomes a challenge when you're not able to influence and have an impact on what's going on. And I mean that in a positive way, not telling people necessarily how to run their country or run their businesses, but to be able to influence and point to our way of life and our type of economy and the things that we have been successful with.
What do you think? What sense do you get from our members of Congress of not having all the cuts that are being proposed out of the House? And what do they think? They think they're going to be successful or not?
I think we're going to get cut larger than we'd like. I understand. I understand. The issues, and I understand. All the new people that have come to Congress, what they were elected on as far as the platforms. I mean, we get that. What we're just asking for is that we go slow to go fast in military terms, as well as we take a little bit of time to ensure that folks are educated and they understand the impact of those cuts. The American public, when you poll them, and I'm sure some of our newly elected congressmen, when you poll them, think that 25% of our budget goes to overseas in the way of foreign aid, when in fact it's only 1%.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Retired Lieutenant General Norman Seip, Air Force. I appreciate you calling in and sharing us what's going on with the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. And you be safe out there. Do you get to still fly at all?
No, I just get to sit back there with the masses in the airplanes.
All right. General, thank you very much for calling in.
Thanks, Frank. And you guys got a great program, and thanks for spreading the word.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's take a break. Come back. After the news, we're going to have our entertainment block. Gordon Shuford, Matt Middlebrooks will be here. The Politics of Sports, The Naked Bootleg, and Postic, and The Shop Tart with her guest, Ali Beauchart and William Murphy. And going to end the day with Jenny McCoffin and Laura Posey of Victoria at Workshop Theater. Stick around for more of You Need to Know. 1230 WOIC, I'm Frank Knapp. For more of You Need to Know. 1230 WOIC, I'm Frank Knapp. For more of You Need to Know.